Welcome to channel. The Trump administration is taking actions that are sparking serious concern north of the border. And this time, it's not about tariffs. Washington is now directly purchasing ownership stakes in Canadian critical mineral companies. This is an ordinary corporate investment. It's a foreign government, one that's recently had a strained relationship with Canada, buy into companies that control some of the most essential resources of the 21st century. Experts are calling it nothing short of unprecedented. So, what exactly is happening, and why does it matter so much? Over the past few weeks, the U.S. government has announced equity stakes in not one, but two major Canadian critical mineral firms. The first is Trilogy Metals, a Vancouver-based company with major mining operations in Alaska. The White House revealed it was spending $35.6 million USD for a 10% stake in the company, along with options to increase that stake and the right to appoint a member to Trilogy's board of directors. In other words, the U.S. government now has a seat at the boardroom table of a Canadian company. The second deal involves Lithium Americas, another Vancouver-headquartered company that's developing one of the world's largest lithium mines in Nevada. In this case, the U.S. Department of Energy has taken a 5% equity stake in both the company and its Thacker Pass lithium project, a joint venture with General Motors. These aren't minor or symbolic gestures. We're talking about ownership stakes in companies that produce critical minerals like lithium, copper, and nickel, materials essential for smartphones, electric vehicle batteries, and even defense systems. Lawrence Herman, an international lawyer and senior fellow at the C.D. Howe Institute, didn't hold back when describing these moves. He called them possibly unprecedented. The U.S. government itself buying into Canadian companies. According to Herman, these aren't benign market investments by private corporations. They're strategic political moves by a government with which Canada currently has a tense and unpredictable relationship. The concern isn't just financial. It's about control and influence. When a foreign government owns part of a company, it raises red flags about whether that government's political interests could shape corporate decisions. There's also the risk that sensitive technology, intellectual property, or strategic information could end up under foreign influence, clearly not in Canada's interest. What makes this shift even more dramatic is how far it departs from traditional U.S. policy. Historically, Washington has used grants, loans, and tax incentives to encourage private investment, but it's avoided direct ownership. Under Trump, that's changing. The new strategy represents resource nationalism, MAGA style. The administration is deploying taxpayer dollars to acquire direct stakes in private companies, jump-starting sectors it deems vital to national security. And it's not just Canadian firms. The Trump administration has taken similar actions at home, buying a 15% stake in MP Materials, a rare earth miner based in Las Vegas, and striking revenue-sharing deals with U.S. tech giants like Intel, Nvidia, and AMD. Still, the Canadian angle is what makes this particularly sensitive. The timing of these investments, amid growing trade tensions and an increasingly protectionist U.S. stance, raises profound questions for Ottawa about sovereignty, economic security, and how Canada can safeguard control over its most critical natural assets. Would you like me to continue the rewritten version with a section on what Canada can do about it next? The global race for critical minerals is accelerating, and it's becoming one of the defining battles of modern geopolitics. Around the world, nations are scrambling to secure reliable access to the materials that power everything from electric vehicles and smartphones to advanced defense systems. And at the center of it all stands China, which currently dominates much of the global supply chain. Beijing's control stretches across nearly every stage, from raw mineral extraction to refining and processing. In fact, China processes a majority of the world's lithium, nickel, and rare earth elements, giving it an enormous strategic advantage. This dominance has left Western countries, including the United States and Canada, racing to reduce their dependence on Chinese supply chains and to secure domestic or allied sources instead. That's what makes the Trump administration's recent actions so consequential. By buying into Canadian critical mineral firms, Washington isn't just investing. It's staking a claim in the global resource race. The U.S. is moving aggressively to ensure it has direct access to the raw materials it considers vital to its economic and national security future. For Canada, this surge in demand presents both an opportunity and a challenge. The potential for mass